All right, in this video, we're going to look at lesson 5.2, writing linear equations given the slope and a point. So in lesson 5.1, that was pretty easy, pretty short. This is a little bit more involved, but I don't think it's too difficult if you just keep track of what it is you're doing. So again, let's remember the equation for slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And then if we also remember that xy represents an ordered pair on the line. So if you remember back to chapter 4, if I gave you an equation, you came up with the x values. In most cases, we use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So we wrote down the x values and we found out what the y values are. And remember, when we graphed those then, that gave us a line. So all those ordered pairs that we found using the numbers for x and plugging them into the equation gave us a y value, and then that point was on the line of the equation. So xy represents an ordered pair. M is still my slope, b is still my y-intercept. So what we're going to look at now is if we have the slope and we have a point, we don't have the y-intercept. We need to find out what that is. But we know an x value and its corresponding y value, and we know slope. So if we look at y equals mx plus b, there's four things that are unknown in that equation, y equals mx plus b. But once I know my slope is -2, now I know what m is. I know my point is -3, 0. That tells me what x is and what y is. So now all I have to do is plug those numbers in and solve for b, which you can see I've done here. I put in 0 for y, which I got from that ordered pair right there. That's the y value. Plugged in -2 because that's my slope. Plugged in -3 because that's the x value. I'm solving for b. So I multiply 0 equals 6 plus b, subtract 6 from both sides so that b is all by itself, and now I know that b is -6. So I use the slope that's given to me and the y-intercept, which I just found, to write the equation y equals -2x minus 6. So I have three steps for you that will hopefully make this a little bit easier. First of all, you're going to substitute the slope for m and the points for x and y. That's the very first thing I did in that first example above. Then after I do that, I'm going to solve to find out what b is. Once I know what b is, I already know what m is. I'm going to use that information and substitute that in for the slope and the y-intercept into the equation, and then I have my equation. It is very important to note that the slope of parallel lines are the same. So if we have two lines that are parallel to each other, their slopes are the exact same. And then the slope of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals of each other. So if the slope of a line is 1/2, then the perpendicular line is going to have a slope of -2 or -2/1. So I reciprocate the fraction or flip it over, and if it's positive, I make it negative. So that's important to know for perpendicular lines. So let's look at a couple examples here. This first example, I want to write the equation of the line that passes through -2, 4 and has a slope of 1/4. So it's going to go through the ordered pair -2, 4 and has a slope of 1/4. So I put in 4 for y, which I got from the ordered pair, 1/4 for m, -2 for x. Multiply, and I get 4 equals -1/2 plus b. Add 1/2 to both sides, so I get 4.5 for b. So my equation is y equals 1/4 x plus 4.5. If I look at example number 2, very similar. I'm going to plug in 4 for y, 1/2 for m, and 3 for x. Add b, multiply, subtract. I get my y-intercept or my b value to be 2.5. Then I take my slope, which was given to me in the original problem, plus the y-intercept that I just found, and I substitute those into the equation, giving me y equals 1/2 x plus 2.5. So I'd like you to try problems 3 and 4 on your own. Now problem number 4 has a slope of 0, which means B is going to be pretty easy to find. And when you plug in 0 for slope, remember that's going to give you a certain kind of line, which we studied at length in chapter 4. Remember what kind of line is no fun or 0 fun to sled on, and what kind of line you won't know is fun to sled on because you will be undefined at the end. And so see if that helps you with problem number 4. With problem number 5, I'd like you to write an equation in the line that is parallel to the line that I'm giving you right here, but passes through the ordered pair of 3, -2. So in order to do that, I have to identify what my slope is, which is -1/4. And I got that from the equation, from this piece of information right there, because they're parallel lines, so the slopes are the same. Then I'm going to plug in -2 for y and 3 for x. And so I'm going to find that equation. So I'll let you finish that problem. And then problem number 6, I'd like you to do completely on your own. Again, we're looking for a parallel line to y equals 1/2 x plus 8. You're given the slope here in this problem. You just have to pull it out of that information that's given to you and then use the ordered pair. Have those problems for tomorrow. We will discuss those in class, and have a good night.